What's up, family? Hey, I want to jump on here. We're going to have a real heart to heart today, okay? I'm sitting outside in my truck. I love the rain. I love the sound of rain, especially when it's raining hard. Um, Stay with me. There's a meaning to that, okay? We're going to talk about healing, okay? And this is probably going to be a 2 to 3 day session. You know what I mean? There's a lot to be talked about, a lot to be discussed. Um, Stay with me, all right? What is healing? What is not healing? Those are the things we're going to talk about, okay? Today. So often, um, people think that they've healed because they're from trauma, because they're no longer thinking about it, or because they've quote unquote moved on, you know? And it's not on their conscious mind. Stay with me. We're going to go somewhere and we're going to go deep today, okay? Family, man, if you had met me in 95, I was 25 years old. I was in the Air Force. I was stationed in Guam. Man, I was 235, solid muscle. In my mind, I look good. You know what I mean? If you ask the women around me or women associated with me at that time, man, I was fine. Man, I was smart, intelligent, we'll do all that other stupid stuff, right? Family, I had issues. I had issues. You know what I mean? I had unresolved issues from my childhood that you could not tell just by looking at me. Stay with me. If you looked at me, man, I look good. You know what I mean? Again, 235, solid, yoked. You know what I mean? My conversation was nice. Man, I didn't have any indications just from looking at me, just from talking to me superficially. I did not have any indications that I had a lot of unresolved traumatic issues. You know what I mean? Man, I was a work. I was a piece of work. Stay with me. In 95, I still hadn't dealt with being molested. It was nowhere on my register. It was nowhere in my conscious thoughts. Stay with me. I had been molested at the age of 6 by two guys in church, okay? On different occasions. At the age of 25, that wasn't nowhere in my conscious being. I never thought about it. From the age of 6, from the time it happened up until the age of 25, I had never even thought about being molested. Stay with me. We're about to go deep, okay? And so, because it was nowhere in my registry as far as my conscious thoughts, man, I thought that I dealt with that. I thought I resolved that. I thought that I had moved beyond that. Nothing can be further from the truth. Our minds, and I talk about how powerful our minds are a lot. Our minds have this natural self-defense mechanism where when we're not capable of dealing with something emotionally, we will suppress it to our subconscious. Okay? Let me say that again. When we are not emotionally, intellectually capable of dealing with something traumatic, we will suppress that memory. We will suppress that experience to our subconscious thoughts. That is a self-defense mechanism that each and every one of us have. We don't even know that we're doing it. We just do it naturally. Stay with me. And so if you had asked me, am I good emotionally at the age of 25? Man, I thought I was it. You know what I mean? I thought I was the schnitz. You know what I mean? Man, looked good, felt good. I thought I was good. Okay? Single parent, raising 2 kids. Man. But I thought I looked good. I thought I had it together. I thought I had life figured out. Stay with me. Our life has a way of bringing things back up when you're ready to deal with it. Stay with me. When you're emotionally ready to deal with whatever it is that you've gone through, life will bring it back to your conscious thoughts. Something will happen and it will trigger that experience. Something will happen in your life and it will trigger that memory. And it will pull that memory up from your subconscious thoughts into your conscious thoughts. And out of nowhere, you'll start crying. Out of nowhere, you'll start remembering all of the hell that you went through, all of the hell that you experienced. This is your body's way of telling you, you have to deal with this now. I've held it down long enough. I've suppressed it from you long enough. You're now mature enough. You're now responsible enough. You're now capable to deal with this. And you're going to deal with it. You have a choice of how you deal with it. You can fake the funk like you all good. You know what I mean? Like ain't nothing wrong with you. You could drink. You can do whatever you want to do to try to deal with that. But you're going to deal with that. You're going to deal with that issue. And many times we push it off and we'll keep pushing it off until we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then when we can't take it no more, man, we have a nervous breakdown, and I've talked about that in some of my other videos in the past. Man, there's nothing wrong with having a nervous breakdown. That's a great emotional release. Enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? Enjoy the ride. There's healing coming afterwards. That is the beginning process of healing. Stay with me. Because we try to be tough. We try to maintain and do everything our way. You know what I mean? But there comes a point to where you break down and you can't take it anymore. And you have to stop running. You have to stop ignoring whatever it is that you're dealing with emotionally. And you have to sit there in your funk, stew in it, you know what I mean? Marinate in it and deal with it. That is the only way you're going to heal from it. That is the only way you're going to grow from it. That is the only way you're going to be able to move beyond that. Healing, emotional healing. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with the pain. You have to deal with the hurt. You have to deal with it, family. You can't get around it. You can never heal from something you never deal with. If you don't deal with it, you won't heal from it. I'm going to say that again. If you don't deal with it, you won't heal from it. Healing. Healing is just the getting back in alignment, getting our mind back into alignment with its intended purpose. Okay? And what am I talking about? In order for you to heal, you have to get your mind back into alignment. Whatever issues you got going on in there, you have to deal with that. Bring that part of your mind, bring that part of your thought process back into subjection or back into alignment with its intended purpose. You cannot be in alignment and ignoring your issues. You cannot be in alignment and be suppressing your issues and acting as if they don't exist. That's not alignment. That's faking the funk. That's pretending. Ain't nothing about that real. And when you do that, all that you do is delay the healing. You just delay the healing process and you just kick it further and further down the road. But I promise you, you're going to have to sit there, deal with it, and heal from it. Every single one of us. And it don't matter what the issue is. You're going to have to deal with it, understand it, in order for you to begin the healing process. And the healing process is understanding it. That's the beginning stage of the healing process. Okay? You have to understand why it occurred. You have to acknowledge the fact that it occurred. You know what I mean? That's first and foremost. You have to acknowledge that whatever transpired. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You can't undo that. Man, it's pouring out here. I love it. You know what I mean? The rain is healing. It's healing. Showers, man, it's healing. You know what I mean? Side note. But you have to acknowledge the issue. You have to acknowledge whatever transpired. Okay? That's first and foremost. Okay? And then after you acknowledge it, now you have to start trying to understand. And then the first thing we do naturally is become accusatory. We start blaming. We become victims. You know what I mean? We become victims and we get angry and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You know what I mean? And that's not fair and why that, man, none of that's healing. You know what I mean? That's not going to help you in your healing process in any way, shape, or form. You can't be a victim. You can't be angry and pissed off and judgmental talking about you healing. No, you're not. You know what I mean? No, you're not. The healing process is not about you accusing anybody. That's part of the stages that we go through, but it's not that. You know what I mean? That we do that naturally. That's not what we're supposed to do, though. You know what I mean? Stay with me. You have to acknowledge what transpired. Okay? The second part of that is we're supposed to try to understand the lesson. Try to figure out what the lesson is. Why did I go through this? And it is in that process of trying to understand why we went through this that we become accusatory. It is in trying to understand why we went through this that we become judgmental and become angry and start blaming everybody else. Because we missed the mark. The mark is, man, why? What is the lesson? What was this trying to teach me? What was this trying to prepare me? What was the information that I was supposed to receive from this? What was the lessons that I was supposed to receive from this? That's what we're supposed to be doing at that stage. But what many of us do, what the great majority of us do, we get pissed off. We ain't trying to understand the lesson. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to figure this out. We mad. We pissed off why this person molested me and why my daddy killed my mama and why this and why that. Whoopty whoopty whoop. And we ain't really trying to understand why we pissed off at them for doing it. We're victims. We're judgmental. We're angry. You know what I mean? We're angry because this happened to us and it wasn't fair and blah 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 blah. Man, I ain't trying to deal with all that. You know what I mean? I don't care about all that. I don't. Now that I'm a little wiser, a little older, a little more mature, you know what I mean? I understand the process. I understand the healing process. And the healing process has absolutely nothing to do with being a victim. The healing process has absolutely nothing to do with being judgmental and angry and pissed off at the world for why my life happened the way it did. You know what I mean? When I'm pissed off and angry that my life happened the way it did, when I'm pissed off and judgmental towards other people for doing whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, when I'm playing the victim role, man, all that is showing me is that I don't understand the process, that I haven't learned the lesson. If you're still angry, if you're still a victim, if you're still judging other people or pissed off at other people for whatever transpired, you still don't truly understand the lesson or the purpose of the lesson. You don't. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You don't truly understand the lesson. Because when you truly understand the lesson, you can sit back and be like, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Man, and I'll say this. And I've said this many times. I've gone through a lot. At the age of 2, I saw my dad murder my mom, stabbed her many times. You know what I mean? At the age of 6, molested twice. You know, was raised in an abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive household. You know what I mean? Went through a lot, okay? I would gladly go through it all over again. Stay with me. And what I mean by I would gladly go through it again, I came here to go through all of that. I came here for the intent or for the purpose of experiencing everything that I experienced. And so, no, I'm not angry at my dad for murdering my mom. No, I'm not pissed off at the people that molested me. No, I'm not mad at the lady who raised me and who was physically abusive to me, who was constantly telling me I was stupid and dumb and I was going to end up in prison for the rest of my life and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, you know what I mean? I was going to be dead before I was 18 or 21, you know what I mean? I went through a lot, you know what I mean, as a kid, from Christian people, you know what I mean? Man, I'm not mad at them for that. Man, they had their own issues, you know what I mean? But I was mad at them for the longest time. I was pissed off at them for the longest time. Man, I hated them for the longest time. Man, I told my dad I had a bullet with his name written on it. And I meant what I said. You know what I mean? Because I hadn't grown up emotionally. Because I hadn't healed. And because I hadn't healed, I still had all this pain. I still had all this baggage that I was carrying. Because I've learned and I've learned the lessons, because I've grown, because I've healed, man, there's no pain attached to any of that anymore. Because I've healed from all that, man, I'm cool with any of that. I could talk about all of that and not be pissed off, not be bothered, not be affected in any way, shape, or form. Because I understand the lessons. I've grown from that. And I'm able to take my experiences and help others grow. I understand that everything that I went through was all good. It was all good. It was all for my growth and development. You know what I mean? It was all intended to teach me some things. It was intended to give me some insight and some wisdom that I could not have gotten had I not gone through that. I had to go through that in order to get to the place where I'm at right now, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually. You know what I mean? So many of us, we want deep knowledge, we want deep wisdom, we want deep insight, but we don't want to go through the crap to get it. You think that just because you read some books or you watch some YouTube videos and you regurgitate what you hear other people talking about, that's gonna get, man, I sound wise, I sound deep. No, you sound ignorant. You could talk the talk, but you ain't got nothing to back it up. You ain't got nothing to support it, because you ain't been through nothing, and when you have gone through something, you ain't learned the lessons from them. So you carrying baggage, and it's all negative energy. It's all negative energy. It's all toxic energy. And when you heal from it, man, it's all love. It's all good. You know what I mean? It's all good. Because you've learned the lessons. And so your energy is able to flow, you know what I mean, freely. It's able to flow without being blocked up, without being tainted. You know what I mean? And so the healing, man, it's just getting my mind back into alignment with my true purpose, why I came here. I came here to be loving. I came here to be helpful. I came here to teach others. I came here to learn the lessons. And all the hell that I went through was the lessons. Family, in order to be real, in order to be transparent, you have to be healed. You have to be healed. Now, a lot of people, man, I just keep it real, and man, no, you just keep it ignorant. You know what I mean? Just because you mad and somebody trigger you and you go left and you talking about I'm keeping it real, no, you're not keeping it real. You're keeping it real ignorant. You know what I mean? You're keeping it real ignorant. You ain't keeping nothing real, because that's not really who you are. You're just showing people, man, I still got hurt. I still got unresolved issues. I still got trauma that I haven't dealt with. And because I haven't dealt with it, I'm acting like a fool. Because I haven't dealt with it, I'm going left and I'm cussing you out. Because I haven't dealt with it, man, I could go from 0 to 60 real quick. And we think that's manly. We think that, man, I'm keeping it down. I'm keeping it 100. Whoop to whoop to whoop, man. Ain't nobody playing me. Ain't nobody trying me. Man, that's so ignorant. That is so ignorant. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. To each their own. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about healing, if you're talking about that you've healed, none of that stuff matter. The ego, you don't get caught up in the ego. You know what I mean? You don't feed the ego. And so when you unhealed, when you still carrying that trauma and that pain and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, man, your ego is the most important thing. And your ego will have you acting different ways. Sometimes it'll have you acting passively aggressive. Sometimes it have you acting like a straight up asshole. You know what I mean? Just ignorant. Sometimes it have you acting arrogant. Sometimes it'll have you acting like you enlightened, like you wise. Like you got it all figured out, when you don't. It's a long video. So we're going to bring it to draw it down. Family, healing is bringing, emotional healing is bringing whatever the trauma was, bringing that area of your mind, that energy, back into alignment with your true purpose. Okay? Healing is understanding why you went through it, why you experienced it, why you went through it, and all the lessons that you are to gain from it. Okay? Healing is, man, now that I've gone through it, now that I've learned from it, man, I'm extremely grateful for it. I'm grateful for the hell that I went through. I'm grateful for my experiences. And I'm grateful because I understand the lessons. I'm grateful because, man, I've learned so much. I'm grateful because, man, had I not gone through that, I couldn't learn this. And had I not learned this, I couldn't help the people in the way that I do. So, man, I'm full of gratitude for all the hell that I went through. And that's why I can say, man, I go through it all over again. Why? Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. The hell that I went through, yeah, it was for me. It was for my growth and development. But it was also so that I could take that and become a beacon of hope, a beacon of joy, a beacon of forgiveness, a beacon of compassion for others. And show others that, hey, you could make it out of this too. You could go through this too. You could grow and reach your full potential too. It's a process. My hope and prayer is that you begin the process of true healing. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.